Y'all ready for some news? Ready for some news? Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. It's the good news. The bad news. And the other shit. Good news, bad news, and the other shit. And what can I say, ladies and gentlemen? Everything is still revolving so much around the president and the daily reality show that this Trump presidency has descended into. And that is what it is. Because you can't even, I don't even set out the story for Monday because it's always changing. It's always changing. The story had been pretty much the way the president really appeared to be kissing Putin's ass. And I'll say it like that, because that's the way it was. And so in that press conference, a lot of Americans were really, they were angry. They were angry based on the fact that it looked weak to them. It looked weak to them. You even had people like Representative Gowdy, Trey Gowdy, and I got to find you a picture of this guy. Because Trey Gowdy, because he's one of the people who has been, so vocally supportive and protective of the president. Let's see if we get some images. I want you to see him, see if you can recognize. You recognize him, see? This guy, see? So Trey Gowdy, even they were all pissed off at the summit because the president was continuing to deny the Russian interference and appeared also to be, just very he talked about how strong, powerful Putin was. And I could just imagine the president sort of bent over and thinking, man, you're so strong, man, and powerful.
That's just wrong, man. That's just
strong. That's what I remember a few females saying that to me back in the day. You're so strong.
Okay. All right, you going there now.
I'm just saying, we know who's blowing who, and that's been the thing I've been saying about the president. For whatever reason, he's either mentally or whatever. That's why people were so upset, because the appearance in whatever vulgar way you want to describe it, the appearance that the presidents made in the press conference appeared to be somewhat submissive or whatever. See, you can't help but use some sexual references. But so people were pissed off. So after that, people like Trey Gowdy, the Republican from South Carolina, and he's also he's part of what is his role? He's on the committee, Intelligence Committee, I believe. Anyway, so he came out and said this, and I quote, "The president either needs to rely on the people that he has chosen to advise him, or those advisors need to reevaluate whether or not they can serve in this administration. But the disconnect cannot continue. The evidence is overwhelming, and the president needs to say that and act like it." End of quote. They wanted the president to say that the Russians have been involved. And the president, even after he read that statement with his iron cough and noticeably reading, swayed no one. And so this has been the news, but then the president started the distractions, which we'll come to in a minute, because he's been trying so hard to distract from this situation. But let us not jump forward too quickly. That press conference that the president unnecessarily did with Putin, again, my amazement has always been how incredibly this man shoots himself in the foot in public, so stupidly, just out of pure arrogance and ignorance. And remember, he's running your country. So that's going to come up. He's got his finger on the button. He is the commander-in-chief of your military, and because there's been no action to remove him, you have that threat. Right now, he stands as a threat to the world. And I'll get back to that. But in that press conference, the president did such damage. Again, as people watch it, that's going to be replayed. Oh, he's so strong and so powerful. So strong and powerful. Okay. And after that, the president was back on Sunday, once again referring to the whole Russian election interference as a big hoax. Really? Now before we move on to the latest thing, let me tell you why this development is so important. And this was widely reported, and a big deal was made of it last week, but the president, because of the scandals involving Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, those things, the president actually shows you, just I want to make this point clearly. The president and his legal team approved the release of that transcript of the calls. They approved that. Now imagine how desperate that is. Why would they do that? Because the other information was worse. They wanted to distract you with the salacious thing, Stormy Daniels. So they actually approved that. They didn't have to approve that. So they approved to let that be released in order to distract you from the other things, and it worked. Because the part that was missed by everybody, not missed by the media, not missed by people like Rachel Maddow and some of the other news people, was that last week, on Thursday, it was confirmed. I don't know why they have to wait an X amount of time and all this, but it was confirmed that the president had been personally briefed by James Clapper, James Comey, and others personally had been briefed and told that the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, had personally ordered these cyber attacks. Now, because this was still an ongoing investigation, they didn't want to discuss that publicly.
Right.
But they told Trump this 2 weeks before the inauguration. Wow. So that means all this time he's been saying hoax, witch hunt, all of that, he already knew. Clapper, former director of your national intelligence, who's been most vocal in his criticism of the president, said, and I quote, "What struck me and others as quite unusual was before we left the room, they started writing a press release about our encounter and were trying to say that the Russian meddling, the Russian interference had no impact on the election." We didn't say that. We could not say that. That isn't the charter or capability of the intelligence community to do that. But I do think there was skepticism from the get-go. From that day to this day, that indicated that anything that attacked the legitimacy or questioned the legitimacy of our now President Trump's election, he just couldn't get his head around. He exhibited that day, and he has ever since. Understand the significance of that. The president has been told, he was told personally what you weren't told, that they had proof, they knew it was Putin. And still he's continued to call it a hoax. Indeed, he just called it a hoax. Michael Cohen has tapes. He has yet to be charged with any crime. They got like 7 of his phones. He's got tapes. And he's yet to be charged. He's yet to be charged, but he's politicking with everybody. He ran into Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' attorney on the street, supposedly ran into, of course. And was chatting it up with him, with Avenatti even later on saying he would consider being a representative for him. Basically, he knows, I don't know how they did it, but the Stormy Daniels thing gets helped tremendously by Michael Cohen and those tapes. Michael Cohen is yet to be charged with any crimes, but understand this. And I went to go double check because you always have to double check because it gets confusing. The people who raided Michael Cohen's home, that was a combined effort of the FBI and the Southern District of New York. Okay, that's not Mueller. Okay, that's not Mueller. But notice Michael Cohen's stuff seems to be reaching out to Mueller, as if to say maybe he could help with that and he might put in a good word over at the Southern District of New York. See how this is happening? But Cohen hasn't been charged. But the people who are investigating him are the FBI and the Southern District of New York. But remember, he has not been charged. He's talking about how he wants to help the country, protect the country. Anyway, so you have that going on, Stormy Daniels, the tape that's going to be the president lying, even though, again, the numbers are high 80s of the Republicans supporting him. Again, the party of bigotry, party of sexism and anti-immigrants, the Republican Party forever stained. Meanwhile, the Democrats still don't know what they're going to do as they shuffle the cards on their end. Well, it turns out last night, in the latest effort of distraction, the president, responding to the press from Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, issued in all caps, "Never ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences the likes of which few throughout history have suffered before. Be cautious." This is right before midnight. So I'm just reflecting, you have now nuclear, threats via Twitter. It's a new day, everybody. It's Twitter, a new importance of international diplomacy. The president's hit a new high or a new low, depending on how you look at this, with his international diplomacy via Twitter. Vic, we talked about this because when the president first hit, we do a lot of social media, and we have been explaining to people the importance. But, one of the things that Trump did, and Vic was really one of the people who first pointed this out, the president started capitalizing on social media even back then, right, Vic?
Yep. You ain't got to love me. Don't have to hate me. You just got to know me. That's social media. Nobody cares if they don't know you. And you can't be worried about being loved by everybody. And that's just the greatest reality show you guys will ever see. Way before the election, I said, oh, yeah, I can see him. He's riding his horse. He don't need 4 horsemen.
Doing it all himself.
Right.
He's his own press.
Right.
He does his own press. He doesn't need your press.
He doesn't need it.
He does his own press.
He just waits for you guys to come up with a topic, and he says, I'm going to go after you guys.
He does his own press. So, again, watch what's going to happen. I don't know now. Remember, I predicted for you that this is going to be a rough summer because the president, because of the other things, the trials that are preceding Manafort, and he has a judge who's no nonsense, who's known for moving straight through stuff with no delays. That's the judge he has. He's known for telling everybody, he wants it on the line. He don't play. So that's going to be a problem for Manafort. Meanwhile, he's in a different jail now because he messed up and started complaining about needing more time. So they moved him to a different jail that was closer where he doesn't have all those perks. Doesn't have his own bathroom and laptop and all that. So it's going to be kind of rough in there. He starts thinking, I might be doing this the rest of my life.
Negotiate.
Yeah, it tends to soften you up.
Negotiate.
Yeah, and Cohen don't even want to go through that.
Oh, no.
Cohen's like saying, before you even come, I'm
right.
ready to sing and work. And
No, Mike he's good. He says, I'll take a bullet. But he didn't specify jail time. He said, I'll take a bullet.
Might have to take an anal probe.
Oh, boy.
I'm telling you. Yeah, they say, what I've been told, it hurts a little in the beginning, but you get used to it. Ladies and gentlemen,
that's not it, man.
It's the good news. The bad news. And the other shit. Ba-da-da-da.